that private stock is good rum. It's the first time I had it.
Oh, those are just
Yeah, you picked a good time to go live. We're live for real?
Yeah, I said 13.
All right, so we're good. Hello, everybody. Episode 2 of All Scuttlebutt podcast. We have Fred Hogan with us today. For those of you who are actually watching, we got a little technical difficulties. We don't have our screen up, so we can't see any comments. So if you hear a 17-year-old voice in the background, that's Nori, our engineer, telling me what you're saying. He'll relay the best he can. Fred has been a pretty active person in the Lynn community for the last 25, 30 years or so. A long time.
Yes,
right?
A long time.
Long time. So episode 1, I realized I didn't explain what this podcast was all about. I didn't really introduce myself or anything. We just kind of went with it. So we're new, right? Chris, who I had on last week, is actually somewhat of a co-host. His schedule doesn't allow him to make it in with us all the time. So he lives pretty far. So the All the Scuttlebutt, if you don't know what scuttlebutt means, it's like gossip or like the water cooler. It's a military term, but it is like gossip and rumors and such. So we don't really have a set topic we talk about. It's not really a political podcast. It's not really a sports podcast. It's a whatever we decide we want to talk about podcast. There's no set length. I mean, we could be 10 minutes. We could be 2 hours and 10 minutes. But some of us have to work in the morning, so I don't think it's going to be 2 hours and 10 minutes. So, Fred, just a little bit about yourself, where you come from, how'd you get here? Please don't say 95 North.
Yeah, I'm Fred Hogan. I'm from Lynn, Massachusetts, of course. I've been in the Lynn community for a long time, doing a lot of stuff from coaching Pop Warner to doing Stop the Violence events, and I was a DJ for a little while. I coached girls basketball at Lynn English and football at Lynn English, and I presently coach football at Lynn Classical right now. I coach football at both East Lynn and West Lynn Pop Warner. So I do a lot of stuff in Lynn. I do a lot of basketball stuff. I run the basketball league for Lynn Parks and Recreation for the past 25 years. I also ran the basketball tournament, which is now the Shoe City Classic, for 20 years. And then, of course, I handed it over to Simi Anderson, who now runs it, and it's on its 26th year at the time. And I still help him with some of the logistics, but he's the man with the tournament now, and it's still going strong. So
awesome.
For a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I had asked you for like your resume, kind of, right?
Yeah.
And you gave me a list that was like this.
And I left off a lot of the other side.
But so. I put that on there on Facebook, and I boosted the post to people. I mean, it reached pretty much all of New England, and I did some New York, upstate, and everything. And complete strangers were like, wow. I mean, you've done a lot. A lot of it's in, actually most of it, right, is in Lynn with the youth. And
95% of it, 99% of it.
So that's obviously pretty important to you. So the Stop the Violence, I want to jump right on that, because a lot of people, people have heard the moniker, Lynn, City of Sin, never come out the way you go in, right? You've heard of that, right?
Yeah,
of course.
Heard of that.
So whenever people say it, you're just like, oh, here we go. That's all they know about Lynn. But it's a big, big city. I'm not sure the population it's definitely over 100,000. Is it? Yeah. So it's big. So we were talking before the podcast about prices of rent and stuff in Lynn, and it's supply and demand. It's too populated.
Absolutely. Prices are definitely going up, going way up.
So just having that kind of a positive impact on kids, as young as Pop Warner. What level Pop Warner did you coach?
I coached the F squad, which is the little babies, all the way on up to the.
You followed your son through?
No, I didn't follow him through.
That's
I passed him on. I passed him on because there was good coaches in the program. Yeah. So I wanted to watch him play, instead of coach him all the time.
I was selfish when my oldest son didn't play football. My youngest did, but he was a late bloomer, so he wasn't really interested in football until Tracy Ventura started the Lynn Chargers.
Right.
So that's based on age and grade rather than age and weight. So he was a big boy. So he wouldn't have qualified for Pop Warner.
Right. He would have been playing in Linfield or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, probably. So I coached him all the way through, and then let him go through high school. So,
Right.
My schedule and stuff. But I really like the fact that you've stuck around, with the kids, and the Park and Recreations League with the
Yeah, that the league, the Parks and Rec is great because it keeps me involved with the kids, and I could be anywhere and kids come up to me all the time. It doesn't matter what school you go to. I support kids, every kid in Lent. I mean, like I wasn't coaching, I wasn't tied to a school for 4 years. So I got to go watch all the basketball games. I go to watch all the football games last year. I watched every single team play, so that was real good too.
Yeah. So you had a long list of accolades too for athletics, as far as coaches of the year and championships. And would I be wrong to assume the 2014 season was your best season, the 25-1?
Absolutely was. Yeah. It was a special group right there.
Yeah, and I didn't really follow, as we lived in Lynn at the time, but I didn't really follow high school sports or anything. But I think everyone around, not even just in Lynn, everyone knew about that team. You guys were every paper.
We ended up being ranked number 2 in the state to end the year. Obviously, we lost to state champs in Division I, which obviously that was one of the best teams probably assembled in Massachusetts in quite a while. It was the Braintree girls. We lost them at the Boston Garden, which was a great game. We actually took the lead late in the second quarter, and they kind of just wore us down with their size and stuff like that there. But it was a special year, winning our first 25 games, going 25-0, and then
that's rough.
Losing your
It's great,
game.
Right? If you're gonna lose one, don't make it the last one.
Right. Well, exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
You lose the first one.
It's happened to me before, believe it or not. I coached at Lynn Tech also, and we were 25-0 in the state championship game. We lost, and we lost in the state final game. That was past the Boston Garden. So, actually, that was my last year at Lynn Tech, and then I got the job at Lynn English. So it's pretty crazy. So, the girls knew that I was going to resign with them if we won it all or if we lost it all, and that was part of our deal we had between us, and it was pretty good. So
that must have been tough. I'm a really competitive guy, so you probably after the game, or you had that feeling, right, of wow, but you had to play that that coach figure, and how did you spin that after a big loss like that?
Well, it was a lot of emotions going on at the time because obviously I knew it was my last game coaching at Lynn English, and these girls were all the seniors. We had a real good senior class, and they were moving on to college and stuff like that there. And it was just tough on everyone, just because we had a goal to win the state championship, and if you ever went into a season, we only had one scrimmage that year. We scrimmaged a team that lost in the state final, so that tells you a lot.
Yeah.
So it was definitely a tough way to end your season there.
So you coach football and basketball. Which do you have a preference?
Well, I've always been a successful basketball coach. I mean, I love football. This is the crazy thing here. I'm very good at coaching basketball, but I love football
because you're a big white dude.
Yeah, big dude, man. So I love the football. So Brian Vaughn, a good friend of mine, he's actually my first hire at Lynn English.
Yeah.
When I got the girls' job, he was my assistant. He got the Lynn Classical job 2 years ago, and he offered me a position this year, and I was happy to come back. And it's been 30 years since I was a Ram, and I graduated from Lynn Classical in 1988. So it was a great thing to come back to Classical and be part of the program. And we're moving forward. We just got a win the other night, so we're at 3-3 now. So
still in the hunt.
Still in the hunt. We have another. We call it a playoff game against Salem on Friday night. If we beat them, we could make the playoffs, so that would be a good thing.
Yeah, the Mass High School does it a little different now than when we went to school. It was you played. It was a points-based system, so you'd play all 10 games, and based on your strength of schedule, if
you could be 10-0 and not make the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I've seen it.
And that's happened. You'd have to be totally dominate.
Oh yeah, and then you have to beat good teams too.
Right, you have to beat good teams. You couldn't just
I got lucky. I was on some good teams. I mean, I was no slouch, but One of the guys that I graduated with, Ron Stone, went on full ride to BC.
Right.
Had a 16 or so year career in the NFL. Won a couple Super Bowls with the Cowboys. First round draft pick. We had a lot of Division I players.
Absolutely. Right.
That came out of there. So we were stacked.
Yeah.
I went to the Naval Academy Prep School to play. I went for the wrong reasons and got invited to leave right after football season. Forgot to study.
Right.
So I was there for the wrong reasons. Maybe a little more guidance through the years, through in high school as far as studying, because kids never listen to their parents. My parents always, you got to study, study, study. But the older I get, the smarter my parents get.
Right.
Exactly. Right.
A lot of stuff my mother said to me, I didn't think so, but now so, because all those things that she told me I should have did. Right. So.
Which my next point is you have 4 kids, right?
Yep.
Your youngest is 23.
Yep.
That's Junior.
That's Freddie Jr. Yep.
And you're 48, so you started young.
Very young. Yeah.
I did too. We were talking about that before the podcast. That I can't imagine people in general in their 40s raising kids. I mean,
newborns.
My patients are like this. I want to be able to give them back. Those are called grandkids.
Yeah.
I don't have any grandkids, but you do.
We have a reward, but right now, me and my wife, is that we have an empty house right now, empty nest, and it's pretty cool. You know what I mean? We're just happy that all the kids, everyone's doing well, and they're all good kids and stuff like that. There, so. It's pretty cool. It is pretty weird being 48 and having, your kids are already out of the house, So
yeah, true.
I got one daughter lives in North Carolina. That's Miranda. Randy owns a house over on Eastern Ave. LaShonda lives in the Highlands, and Freddie just got an apartment in Peabody. So
nice.
They're all spread out. So
yeah, that's good. Another thing too is, and I've heard this on other podcasts I listen to in my commute, is having kids that young, you looking back, you realize that you're just a kid trying to figure it all out as you go. But to your kids, you're a genius.
Yeah.
Like you're some kind of magician, some kind of wizard or something. Like you make no mistakes. And
the struggle was real, I would say. One car or no car. And I was working at the hospital, and I have to take 2 buses. I take a bus to Lynn Hospital, take the shuttle to get to Union Hospital, and
doing whatever you got to do.
Doing whatever we could do, because you're young and you're not making any money. I don't know how you could actually feed a family on the money I made at the hospital. You know what I mean? So
we did it somehow, right?
Absolutely. Well, my mother did it. My mother did it with 8 kids, so. Yeah. Me with 4 would probably be an easy thing, half of what my mother had to do.
Right. So we got a lot of help from our parents. My parents helped us. Her parents helped us. Her mom was great. Anytime we ever needed anything, they were always right there. So we have good role models. So now as the grandkids come into the picture, we have a good, good model to follow, so they hooked us up. Another thing that I did put in the post that you didn't put on your list, but obviously after you had agreed to come on the podcast, I think it was the next day, you, revealed that you're running for city council, right?
Yes, I am. I'm running for Ward 6 City Council in Lynn. So that election won't be until September next year. So what I'm doing, I'm just getting my team in place right now, and getting some supporters behind me. And
you just by talking about it, you look tense. You're nervous about it.
Very nervous about it. It's something new that I've never done before. I've been into sports. I've been into things of, coaching. You're a leader anyway. So, a lot of people wanted me to do this, and I've obviously thought about it, but I'm good friends with Pete Capano, who he's just got elected to state representative, and he's going to be resigning from the ward councilor, and he thought it'd be a good idea, and me and him talked at length about this here, and we believe in a lot of the same stuff and stuff like that there. And I'm a Ward 6 guy, and the house I grew up in was 6 months old. I live in it now, 48 years. So, I lived in Marion Gardens for 9 years. So I've kind of been in the ward my whole life, and I actually work in the ward for 21 years. I work at the wastewater plant on Linway. So, I'm there. So, I try to tell people that we are Ward 6, you know what I mean? And Hogans were always part of Ward 6, and just like the Capanos and some of the family. So we're going to give it a shot and put a lot of hard work into it and see.
Any particular focus as a councilman? Like, is that something like, when you run for that, is it like a mayor or higher office where you have to have like your platform, what you stand for?
Absolutely. We have a major flood problem in our ward, over the Bennett Street area and that whole area, Alley Street area.
That was underwater, right? A couple months ago.
Yeah, well, the whole city, we had Boston Street was flooding, downtown Lynn, Monroe Street. So, that's one of our focus points. But we do have a big project coming in next year, which is a CSO project. Obviously, I work at a wastewater plant, so I'm familiar with a lot of what's going on with the water situation. So that will alleviate a lot of the stress on our ward with the flooding. Obviously, I'm always going to be with the Stop the Violence and trying to educate the kids so they don't do the stuff and make mistakes that they could make, and that's our whole thing with the Stop the Violence, Lynn, is we understand we will not save every kid. And people say, Fred, what do you mean by, how can you say you're stopping the violence? Well, we know that if we save one kid, if one kid puts a gun down, we did our job.
It's a mindset too.
It is. And we've given out over 10,000 shirts since we started 5 years
Gave
ago.
me one here. Right.
Yep. There you go.
Tried to give me the 4X.
Yeah. And that this year was dedicated to Romel Dennis.
Right there, right?
Yeah. He was, murdered in the summertime, which we dedicated the walk to him and his family. So it was a very, very special walk this year. And we did the walk 5 years now. So like I said, we've been in the community and we've been doing this here. We've got a great team. The guys that founded it with me, Pete Capano was one of them. John Ford was one of them. Antonio Gutierrez and Big Rob Smith, who's a coach in the city also. We met at a Dunkin' Donuts and we put it together. Yeah. And now we have a very strong committee that's very diverse and has a lot of people on it. We have women. We have everything on the committee.
So you started that in 2013?
Yes. Yeah, we did.
Nice. Yeah, it's weird though. Like I said, it's a mindset. The violence in general, especially I think in a bigger city, there's the bigger. If it makes sense, I feel like the bigger the city, the smaller the mindset of the kids growing up. There's so much competition for everybody's attention, and there's so many opportunities, but they can't really see them because they don't really know.
Right.
So I think that's
that's
show
what
them
we're
another
doing.
path,
We're trying
right?
to spread the message, and a lot of it is kids need jobs. It's a lot of it comes down to finances, and the violence. It's usually compact to a small area, like there's not a lot of random stuff going on, which you don't want. Random violence is the worst, but the thing is that what happened was those kids I was coaching either on either side of it, either a kid that I coached in the past either shot somebody, or a kid I either coached either got stabbed or shot and murdered. And I just called Big Rob up. I called Rob Smith up. I was like, Rob, man, we got to do something, man. Like we can do this. And then we got that group together, and we just been going at it strong, And like I said, the message is everywhere. It's really cool in the summer when you go to a football practice that kids are getting ready without the equipment on, like 10 kids get the shirt on. It's just, it's just a message. That's all we want to do is if we could put out 10,000 shirts, that's what we did. We raise money and it goes right back out just to the message, and we just hope more kids will maybe, say, what, the Cub guys, my role model, said, man, maybe if I put this gun down, something like that, and it has happened because I had a kid come up to me and I thought about some of the stuff you talked to me about, and then I went this way, and I was like, that makes me feel awesome. You know?
Absolutely. Just the impact you have, for sure, you in particular, but as a coach, the impact you have on a kid's life. When you see them, you coach long enough, you see them now they're adults. I mean, you probably have some kids running around in their 30s that you coached higher.
I had a 40-year-old come up to me and he goes, "Hey, coach." And I go, I'm looking at him like, you coached me at Cali Park. I'm like, whoa, that's right when I first started. You know what I mean? Like I was doing Lynn Parks
just
and
a few
Recreation.
years older than him.
I was only a few years older than him. I was 20-something years old, you know? So here I am, 48, and this kid's 40 years. Like, how old are you now? I'm 40. I'm like, you know, and then I got a lot of 30-year-olds, you know, and then obviously I got the new age, you know, kids that are in their 20s. So it is crazy that you've been coaching so long that you have, and then now they have kids. So so that's what's cool. Now they're coaching. Some of them are coaching now. So it's real cool. You know, it's like, you know, it's all over the place.
So when you first got into coaching, was it because it was something you liked, or would you wanted to impact kids? Like, did you know that early you wanted to have an effect?
I knew I wanted to do a positive thing because, you know, I grew up in Lynn and I grew up with a rough group and you know what, and I wanted to do something positive. I knew coaching basketball was that. And like I said, the first job I ever got was from Mr. Ridley. Jim Ridley gave me a job at Lynn Parks and Recreation. And
summer job, right?
Summer job, doing the little thing.
He lived in Curran Circle with me.
Yeah. And we did that there, and it went on from there. And then when Jim Ridley retired from Tech, he gave my name to Marvin Avery, and I was Marvin's JV coach. And I was there for 9 years with Marvin, and I also coached the Burke. I coached football at Tech too. So Tech was my first start. Of course, Lynn Park and Recreation, which was 25 years ago. You know, I was 23 years old. You know, and I fell in love with it. And then Mr. Ridley also let me. I also coached his summer league team over in Salem, so I did that there for him too, and he recommended me to. He actually got me onto the coaching staff at Lynn Tech, and there it went. So
we also talked pre-podcast about decisions, right? You said a second ago that you grew up with a rough crowd. I did too. Mm-hmm. You weren't, and you still live in the same house, right? You were born and raised in.
I'm a baby of 8 kids,
so we were talking about, you know, you telling your kids this growing up is, you know, you get to a point where you got to make a choice. Either you're going to go right, or you're going to go left with everyone else. It's either are you strong enough willed and minded to do your own thing, or are you going to be the person that follows along, and then that's your way.
The only lucky thing about myself is that growing up where I grew up and who I grew up with, I was never a follower. I was always a leader. So I could think for myself and not, you know, make a bad enough decision that, you know, could end me up doing something that I didn't want to be doing. And I held strong to that. You know, I got married at 23 years old. So that says a lot. I've been married for 25 years.
Nice.
And I probably say that my wife saved my life back then, just because, you know, I met my wife. She had a son, and he was like my own son. And to this day, he's my own son. I raised him since he was a little kid, and he's my man. So, you know, I had a responsibility right away to Randy and my wife, and that was big, and that shot me straight right away.
I was going to say, how did just the fact that you had kids, how did that like change your life? That all of a sudden you have this life that you're responsible for. It really affects your decision making.
It makes you, you know, one thing about me, I always had a job. I always worked. Like I always worked out of high school. I worked at the hospital. I started transporting. I was a transport. I moved patients.
Which hospital?
I started at Lynn Hospital and Union Hospital. I actually closed Lynn Hospital. Then I got into the lab, which I started drawing blood and phlebotomy and stuff like that, and started doing EKGs. And I started doing that. And I did that job for about 9 years. And I always went to work, and I always did the right thing. So that was a good start for me. And then I got a call about the wastewater plant, and I went over there in my white scrubs, and people thought I was crazy. They get guys who are the old timers there were like, we never thought you would make it coming in here with all white scrubs on. So 21 years later, I'm still at the same job.
Well, it's funny hearing those stories. Like, you know, people are like, oh, we thought you were, you know, is now you realize that how they really feel about you. You know, you won them over. Yeah,
definitely. I mean, like I said, I always give kids second chances too, just because if a kid does something wrong at 17 or 16 or 20,
they don't know.
It doesn't make them. they can always come back from doing bad to be a good person. And I've seen a lot of people do that.
But not if they don't get that chance.
One guy, really, he taught me that because he's always giving people second chance, and that's why he's one of my good role models, and that's what I always did. I always make sure that you treat people good. You know what I mean? And that's one thing that I do.
Not everybody does right by their second chance either. You can't.
No,
you
that's
can't
true.
Save everybody.
No, you can't save everyone, and there's people that I've got burnt on. I've tried to help out, and they didn't want to do the right thing, and either you put your name up there for them and stuff like that there, but at least you tried.
Yeah, exactly. So the another thing I see you post all the time on Twitter and Facebook is your running streak. I remember when you were like 35 days in.
I was a big boy then.
And I remember again messaging you. I'm like, hey, wow, that's amazing, man. How do you do it? And you're like, you imagine when you're at like a year, and you were like, these people have been doing this for like 10 years.
Yeah. I'm in a group. I'm in a Run Streak group that has a page on Facebook, and there's people that've been doing it, and they're way up there.
That's crazy.
But one thing the lady that runs it told me is you celebrate your zeros. And I'm headed 700 days, which is going to be Friday. So 4 days away, I'm 7 going through snowstorms.
I remember you were running with the flu.
Yeah, the flu. It gets kind of crazy. So what happens is you have to do a minimum of 1 mile a day. Obviously, I've done more miles in one day. I even did a half marathon one day. I had Brian Castellanos did the Boston Marathon, and he did a Facebook Live video. And I got up that day, and I just started running, and I didn't stop. And then I did my first half marathon just by spur of the moment. But the run was a part of, I got pretty big when I was coaching. I gained a lot of weight and stuff like that there. And then I walked first. My secret headquarters was the YMCA track. Nobody knew I was up there. I was up there all by myself.
I remember that track.
And people would see me up there. They're like, wow, Fred, you're doing this all on your own. I did it all on my own. I was dropping the pounds, dropping the weight, and then I couldn't even run it first.
How much did you lose?
I lost 270, so I got all the way down to 12. I was like 65 pounds.
That's a lot.
Yeah, and I'm back up to about the 220 range right now, so it's kind of comfortable on me, but maybe I'll cut some more down. The doctors would like us to be 180 or something like that, like just starving like high school. Look like the edge of area, He never gained weight in his life.
Amazing. I started focusing on weight loss. It's in the middle of July. I've lost about 60 pounds.
Nice.
My boss challenged me. I had actually done an overnight in the hospital with chest pains. And when I came back to work the following day, he was like, well, what are you gonna stick around? Are you gonna die, or what's going on? I was like, I tell you what, we made a little side bet. If I lost 50 pounds and you give me 5 months to do it, there was money involved. I won't say how much, but it was enough to motivate my ass to lose the weight. So I did it in 3 months, inside 3 months. And I'm still going. So the challenge is keeping it off. Again, with pre-podcast, warm up, whatever you want to call it. We're talking about foods. In my opinion, it's the worst addiction.
Food's the best.
You have to eat it. You can't live if you don't eat, man. And it's like, what if an alcoholic had to drink alcohol to live? Right. He'd never break it. He'd always be an alcoholic. So when you're a food addict, and I love food, you just gotta deal with it.
Jose and these guys bought the house roast beef, and I'm like, where you been? I go, listen, I'm really not eating that stuff, So I had to go over and get one of the nice chicken kebab salads, which is very good. I like how they separate chicken from the salad, which is pretty good. And then you put it on yourself.
Yeah,
so
get that junior beef, take the top bun off. It's all protein.
You know what? I have a lot of cheat meals now, so it's pretty good.
Well, you just with the running,
so I'm doing a lot of cardio. That stuff works pretty good.
So you run every day. So you've been to a couple Super Bowls.
Yeah.
And so I want to talk about the Super Bowls, but when I see you like running Super Bowls, it reminds me of like the Kevin Hart stuff where he's,
Yeah.
people
Around
running with
Kevin,
him.
yeah,
And
he just pops up.
so now that you're on the podcast, everyone's going to swarm you because, must have like 4 people watching right
We
now.
always open it up to people. We started a thing called Greater Lynn Speedy Turtles, and that's because we're not trying to set records. We're not trying to go fast.
Yeah.
And I'll run at any speed. If anyone wants me to, I'll slow down with people. I'll do whatever. I've slowed down. I did midway when I got down to about 210 pounds. I did a 6.5 minute mile. So it's pretty good for a 45-year-old. So I got pretty fast. You know what I mean? I did well in a couple of races. But now I just go for the 9 to 10 minute mile and just relax. I'm not trying to kill myself out there, so it's a fun thing. People see me all over the city too. They see me running there, beep, I just throw the hand up and say hi, you know what I mean? So I used to run with headphones. I kind of stopped doing that just because I like to know what's around me because I run at all different times. I run 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning. I could run 6, 7, 8, 9 at night too. So I had a good group. We had a good group of going on streak runners too. We still got one guy still streaking. Sean Hennessy is a childhood friend of mine. He's still on. He's right. He's probably about 55 days behind me. So he's moving pretty good. As long as
you don't stop, he'll never catch you.
That's very true.
He'll never catch you.
True.
It must drive him crazy.
Like my wife always says to me, "What's your goal?" I go, "I don't know."
To win?
There's no
beat
goal.
Everybody.
No, there's no goal. It's just you can never beat the best streak runner because that guy did
he's gonna die sometime.
Well, he stopped. His streak stopped, but he started at like 12 years old and he did it till he like 85 or something.
So you got to be like 140.
Yeah, so it's not going to happen. So I'm not going to get the world record. So one day I will just wake up and say it's over.
Like Forrest Gump. Just stop and walk home.
Just stop. But I do want to get to 700. That's my goal. That's Friday. So.
Yeah, you got to have goals. So, of all the places you've ran, you said you were down in South Carolina somewhere?
North Carolina. I bring my daughter to Charlotte. Some
sketchy neighborhood you were running.
Oh, yeah. See, that's one thing. I map it on my head. I look on the map and I just go and I actually ran through an airport, Fort Lauderdale's small airport. There was a hole in the fence and my dumb butt decided I knew if I went straight, I went down and so I went through the hole in the fence and I'm running. And I'm literally right next to the airplanes, the small craft airplanes. It was the Fort Lauderdale Executive Airport. I got so scared I was getting arrested. So I ran right through the security guy and just ran right out of the airport. Nobody chased you. Nobody chased me. So that was one of my ways.
If you're crazy enough to run into an airport, they don't want to mess with you.
Yeah, well, I don't understand why that hole is in the fence. I didn't figure that part out. I didn't know I'd be right next to the airplane. So that's one of my craziest maps because I post my maps out. Too,
that's how you get around the TSA.
Oh yeah, you're not gonna run in the Logan Airport, so that's not happening.
Yeah, I see you do.
One thing about the running is it's part of the only selfish thing that I do. It is kind of selfish because I do it alone most of the time. A lot of times I run with people, but I do it alone. So that's my little break. People see me everywhere. They see me at Planet Fitness. They see me at the Lynn Y. They'll see me on the streets. Like now I just did like 3 or 4 days in a row outside. So I'm trying to get my body back to running on uneven surfaces. Yeah. And that's what happens there.
Yeah. Your ankles and feet must be pretty strong, right?
Yeah, I used to have plantar fasciitis, and since I started running, I don't have any of that anymore.
I had it too, and then I lost 50 pounds, and it went away.
It's very true. That's what happens.
Yeah, it's so bad.
It's so bad.
Terrible.
Right?
It's terrible.
It's so
bad. Unless you've had it, you just can't even be explained.
Yeah,
it is pretty bad. So back to the Super Bowl. You've been to how many?
I've been to 2. That story behind both.
Right. So the first one
was what do you call that? A bucket list, and you're so happy, and your friends and family.
Houston, right?
That was Arizona for the Seattle First Patriots. So we get all the way out there. We got our tickets from Big Red Tickets, which is a reputable ticket broker, and we got our plane, we got our condo, we get everything. We get all the way out there. The day of the Super Bowl, we had to go pick up our tickets, and old Mr. Big Red Tickets, they sold our tickets. When we got there, they sold our tickets for $10,000 each. We paid $2,000 each.
It's still a lot.
So we got all the way to the Super Bowl and couldn't get in.
Wow.
That was our memory of the Seattle. So we went back to the condo. We watched the Super Bowl there, and we actually did go and celebrate with the Patriots fan. We went tailgated at the stadium because obviously we wanted to get our tickets. So, and you're not supposed to tailgate, but we tailgated anyway because we were so upset. So we had a little grill and we did it anyway. So we lived the whole Super Bowl dream. We did the experiences and all that there stuff. So
you guys went to 20-3, right?
Yes. So so what happened is the next year came out and we went to Ace Tickets and we paid $4,000 a ticket but we had those tickets.
You had them.
Those tickets were in our possession before we got on the plane. That was the whole way we were doing it this time. And we call ourselves Houston 9. 9 of us went, and obviously it was one of the greatest Super Bowls ever played. And that was a great experience. And
that was the Edelman
catch on the
triple clutch. Yeah, it was amazing.
It was unbelievable because when Atlanta came out and scored again in the second half, the fans in the stadium took it over. It was that ATL chant was destroying us. And I actually went Facebook Live and told everybody we were coming back.
Yeah, I remember.
And people say to me too, you were the only dude really saying they were going to come back. And listen, I'm not leaving. If they were down 40 points with 2 minutes left, I'm at a Super Bowl. I'm not leaving.
Right.
So, and that's
not for $4,000 a ticket.
No. And 4,000 doesn't get you down on the field either.
No,
it gets you up top too. So we're up on the upper deck, but you're in the building. So you got to see the halftime show. You got to do all that.
Who was that halftime show?
Lady Gaga. She actually was up on the roof. They opened the roof up and she was up there, and it was pretty wild. They had 10,000 drones up there with lights on. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, I remember that game. My boss at the time he's from the area, and we were in a group text chat, and he's not even a football fan. He's like a soccer fan, and he's texting us, we're the big bad Patriots, and I was just saying, hey, there's full quarters.
Yeah.
And then we got to a point where I'm like, we need a fifth quarter and 2 miracles. It was the Edelman catch, there was the interception, and then we had overtime.
Right.
So exactly what I asked for, and we win.
Yeah, it was definitely amazing. It was definitely both games were amazing, even though we didn't get in the other one. So
how about that game last night?
That was
we were flying home from Orlando, and I listened to the half of the third quarter and the fourth quarter on the drive back from the airport.
Take away the Patriots defense, that was a great game.
Anytime the two teams are over 40, there's not much defense involved.
Never in the history of the NFL has the game ended at 43-40. Is that wild? Never.
And they're the first team to not punt and no penalties in the same game. That's incredible.
It's pretty incredible, exactly.
So they're legit. As potent as the Kansas City offense is, as it be if they end up in the AFC Championship, it's going to be a pretty.
Well, the AFC Championship. Remember, Kansas City's got to get through Pittsburgh, and
they got to get through the first round,
and they got to get back through Jacksonville, and we got to do.
We got to do the same thing. I mean, Jacksonville, they took us to school.
Right.
That was not a fun game.
Yeah,
we were never in that game.
The NFL has changed since week 1, week 2, week 3 already. So Patriots are now 4-2, and Jacksonville's 3-3. So.
We could easily be 2-4, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the wastewater plant, right? Is that up towards Pine Hill?
No, that's the drinking water plant.
Oh, okay.
There's 2 operated by Veolia Water. That's who I work for, Veolia Water. It's out on the Linway next to DPW. Yeah, so what we do is we clean the water before it goes to the ocean. And the water that goes out to the ocean is very clean. I actually work in the lab also, and I'm also the site safety coordinator there. So we do a real good job for the environment. That's what we are. We're environmental stewards. So, we also have a wind turbine up there that generates some power over there. So
that thing's big.
Yeah.
So you also were or are a DJ as well?
Yeah, I did that for 20 years too. Yeah.
Where do you find time for all this?
That's what people always wondered. I don't know.
And raising kids and
Yeah, well,
successful marriage.
I worked on the midnight shift for 12 years, and I did that on purpose through a lot of my coaching and a lot of stuff that I did. I'm day shift now, 7 to 3. My days rotate off, like this month on Monday and Tuesdays off. Next month it rotates, so Wednesday and Thursdays off. So people don't realize, I try to tell them I have to work too. I do have a full-time job, so there's a lot of events and things I can't make it to. You know what I mean? But that's how I did it. I worked the 11 to 7 shift, and I didn't sleep, but that's what I did. I would do AAU basketball, Pop Warner football, and all that stuff there. But I'd sleep in my car. You'll see me sleeping in between games at the gyms and stuff like that there. That's
I don't know how people do overnights. My wife has done overnight shift with kids growing up, but she still does it, and she's been doing it for 30 years.
Right.
We've been married for 27 years, but even when I met her, she was working overnights. It's like past 10 o'clock now, my eyes start to shut. Yeah,
overnights. Maybe I might bid out and go to overnights again.
You get like a shift differential for that too, or
yeah, but you don't do it. You don't do it for the money. You don't do it for the money. We always think that shift probably hurts us a little bit.
Absolutely. So you are running for a city councilor, and you ran for another office we talked about too, right? I had to bring it up.
Yeah.
So you lost your only other election. You lost, and explain who you lost it to.
All right. I at the wastewater plant. I ran for Union Stewart, 30 votes, 27 votes, and I lost to actually one of my friends, Pat Cook. He beat me out for Union Stewart. So that was my only election I ever ran for in my life.
And you lost.
And I finally
lost. How long ago was that?
That was probably 18 years ago.
That's you just took that loss hard.
I took that loss hard because I don't like losing. I don't like losing at checkers. So
listen, if we're keeping score, I'm supposed to win.
Right.
That's my mentality. So I'm really competitive about anything I do.
Yeah, that's how I guess I coach, and it's how I go after things, you know what I mean? But definitely I don't think I worked that hard at that election, and I didn't understand it, and I don't think I went in that hard, but I know how much work it will take in this new one. So.
Right. So that's no. Obviously, you're not scared of hard work. You're not taking it lightly. And you said you're not going to be the guy handing out signs a year before election, so people are like, oh, here he comes again.
Right. The election's not until September. So, actually, I have like 10 signs that me and my family are looking at, and some of the people that are going to be on my team, and we haven't decided on a sign yet. And
I saw one going around Facebook.
Yeah, and one went around Facebook, and it was actually leaked by one of my daughters, so she didn't mean to do that.
I guess you picked your sign.
Well, maybe we.
It looks good.
Yeah, it does look good, but it wasn't actually picked yet. But maybe she picked it for me.
Press team leaked.
So what happened was she put it on her Instagram, and someone took a picture of it, and it went to Facebook, and then. The article already came out in the newspaper in the Lynn item that I would be running, and Pete Capano had endorsed me. So the word was already out. So, she's all right. Me and my daughter's good. It's all right.
Good.
So now I know in them family group texts, I got to be careful what I share with them.
You do.
So I have to keep that on my hard drive, stuff like that there. So.
But you got to put like a watermark on it or something.
Yeah, not sample, for real. Right.
Sample only. Not just kidding. Real. Something like that. So if we do you remember, I don't even remember how old we were. So you're a year older than me anyways. When I lived on Summer Street.
Yeah.
And right next to the pub. Remember the pub right there?
Yeah, Aaron Pub. The Aaron Pub.
We spray painted my bedroom.
Oh,
remember we tagged it up. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do remember that.
I think as the first time, actually probably the only time, I was high as hell.
Oh,
it's the fumes,
right?
We went through like 4 cans of spray paint.
That was my kid blast days. I was a graffiti artist. I was a pretty bad graffiti artist too.
I remember I had that little one single turntable with a couple speakers.
Yeah.
and I think we had or at least I used to do it. I had the speakers in the window facing out. Like that was the thing to do.
That's what I did. That was
how
I got my claim to fame as DJ Freddie H there.
And you actually showed me how it was the Fat Boys back in the day. You showed me how to mix on a tape.
I was DJ pause it too.
Yeah, exactly.
I could make the best mixtapes on a pause tape. See,
right? You pause it, back it up, boom, play it.
That's what I did. I would go to New York and record the radio stations in New York. And I would just record them all, and I'd go and get 8 hours and bring them back and steal all the music off of those tapes and make my friends' tapes off of pause tapes. And I had the best tapes. I always walked around with a radio too because I love music.
Yeah.
And so I gave you the trick. Can I show you the DJ pause trick?
You showed me the DJ pause trick for sure. Which, again, we talked about. I asked my sister-in-law, who also does some DJing, if she could record like an intro and exit music. And you kind of said the same thing. I didn't ask you, but you kind of said the same thing. You haven't done it so long, like you forget how to do it. And same thing, she bought all the gear and everything, and it's been years since she's done it. She's like, I don't remember how to do that stuff.
Right. It's all digital now. There's no, you can have records, but now you have one record, you put it on there, and it's digital right off your computer.
Yeah.
So,
how do you even mix that? They still.
Oh,
how do they extract?
So easy now. Really? It's so easy now. Everything is right in front of you. You never had a computer screen showing you the beat. It shows you the beat. You can mix so easy now. Anyone can DJ now.
So you're saying they don't have to have skill?
No, there's DJs out there that have unbelievable skill, but they put their time in.
Right.
But anyone could grab their phone and almost DJ. It's bad. It's in a bad way. It's like it's just technology has taken over.
Now I know it's not that long ago, but I guess for me, when I most recently realized how technologically advanced it is now with DJs, there's that one violinist on YouTube who did the Drake. Hotline Bling, right? That song, and he did it with the violin, but he has DJ in the background who mixed it up for him too. And it was all digital,
right?
But it sounds great.
Digital is it's.
But if you put your time in, you can probably make anything now.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So, no, there's some elite DJs out there still. I mean, I actually know a couple of them. Which there's some good ones, and then just. With the equipment now, I've got all the I bought the up-to-date stuff 4 years ago. I don't know why, but I did. I bought $5,000 speakers, and
you never know.
Got all this stuff now down my basement.
So you don't occasionally do weddings or anything like that?
No,
if a friend asked you to do it.
No, I was a little while ago, and it got too much, And then people now that's one thing. There's so many DJs out there that the prices have dropped. You could ask for a good number, but now this dudes would DJ your event for $100. You know what I mean? I was getting $200 for a house party 20 something years ago. You know what I mean? It was $200. That's what I was DJing on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and sometimes on Sunday, and that was all through the whole city of Lynn. And it was weird back then in those house parties. People came to dance. It was weird. You came to a house party to dance. I mean, obviously, there was probably a keg there too, but
maybe something in the back, right?
Yeah.
So that's good. I had a couple of things I wanted to talk to you about for sure. Classical. So you coached football at English too, right?
Yes. Yep. 9 years. Yeah.
Yeah, and they're doing really well.
Yeah, they did. They're doing very good. They've won back-to-back NEC titles. Yeah.
Yeah. Did they? One of my friends on Facebook, Mike Severance, his son's the quarterback.
Yeah, it's good. Good player.
I remember when he played for the Chargers. Yeah, he was little. He's not little anymore, but he's amazing talent.
Yeah, he just broke the head coach Chris Carroll's record. At Lynn English. And actually, it's funny because I coach Chris Carroll at Lynn English.
You feel old, huh?
Yeah, I feel I'm still under 50, so I'm holding on to that. So
why is that the magic number, right? 50. I mean,
isn't that what they say is over the hill or whatever?
Is it? I mean, I don't feel anywhere near the hill.
Nah, I'm not near the hill yet.
Right? You're still running every day and coaching everything you can coach and
trying to. But if I look like Kurt and Jose, those two guys, you know what I mean? You know Kurt and Jose, right?
Yeah.
Those two guys, man, they don't age, man.
No. Now I was looking through, and he keeps on bringing up Jose because he's here. So, we were looking through pictures the other day because we went down, like I said, Florida, to visit my mom and some family down there. And I saw a picture of Jose when he was probably about 15, and he looks almost the same.
I got a picture.
Same haircut for sure.
I got a picture of him and Marion God, him and Big Matt on the wall. He looks like the same dude, man. You know what I mean? That's pretty crazy.
It's a little bit older.
But age ain't nothing but a number, right?
It's all what you think about it.
Yeah.
On your birthday, do you mysteriously, really, do you get a year older? I mean,
right.
What is it really?
You just got to live life to the fullest. That's what I tell people too, is make every opportunity count. You know what I mean? And like you said, if you do good stuff, it's rewarding. You know what I mean? You don't do it to get any accolades or anything like that there, but it makes you feel good when you do something positive to someone and they respect that or they like that there.
For sure. So but time is it's kind of a concept. I mean, it's not tangible. It's not, when you go to sleep and you wake up, you have no reference of time,
right?
Until you look at the clock, you don't know what time it is. You don't know how long you've been sleeping. You want to go back to sleep,
right?
Especially as you get older, right?
Yeah.
So, I don't think age is as important as how you take care of yourself, which is another motivator for me to really start losing weight, because as our kids get older, hopefully at some point grandkids will come into the mix, and I want to be able to do things with them.
Absolutely.
I want to be able to be active with them like I was with my kids, coaching football or, going to the park or going to Disney or, Six Flags or whatever the case may be. I don't want to be the guy who has to be in a mobility scooter,
I tell everyone that, you have children, you have kids, you snap your finger and they're grown, So all these guys all kids that I coach I now have kids, and I say, be part of everything, man, because before you know it, it happens fast, and then your kids are growing up. And like I said, I got a big house with just me and my wife in it. We get, everyone is in their own way. They're doing their own lives, so already it's happened to us. And like I said, I'm 48 years old. So, it happens fast. So enjoy every moment of your kids' lives. And if you can put time in with them, put time in on them.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you like best about being a grandparent?
Best part is to be able to hang out with the kids, play with them, while them up, and then say goodbye. I mean, it's like you don't have to do everything you did as a parent, because they get to go home at the end of the day.
Right.
So
you don't have to worry about hopping them up on sugar and them never falling asleep that night.
Right, exactly. And the good thing is that they're usually happy to see you when they see you.
You have rules when they come over?
No
jumping on the beds.
No, they're all past that stage.
Oh yeah,
so it's pretty good.
What are they?
See, we have our house is set up different. We have a living room, dining room, kitchen, and everything downstairs, and we have a bathroom downstairs. So no one even has to go up to our second level of our house where the bedrooms are.
They have to go up if they want to jump on those beds.
Right. Well, that's what I mean. So, so what are you doing going up them stairs?
You know what I'm doing.
Right. So
what? How did you decide what they were going to call you? What do they call you?
They call me Pops. And I did make that decision because I didn't think at 40 or 38 that I wanted to be called Grampy. You know what I mean? So I picked Pops. I think that's a little more cooler, and that's what they call me. So
what did you call your grandfather?
I call my grandfather Grampy.
Yeah,
that's what I call him.
So like my wife doesn't want to be called Grandma or Nana because that's what we call her.
She doesn't want to be called.
No, no. Well, actually, She's mentioned it maybe.
Maybe. That's a maybe, right?
But we
there,
haven't
right?
decided yet. I know
Right.
I want my grandkids to call me Pop because that's what I called my grandfather.
So who's going to give you the first grandkid? Is there a coin toss here?
I
Do you have in your mind?
I hope it's not a race because I don't think any of the kids are right now in a position to be and maybe, I'll finish that thought. I don't think any of them right now in a position to have a kid.
All right.
Not that they're not
Were
responsible.
We in position?
Exactly.
See?
So we weren't. I mean, we were just kids
Right.
trying to figure it out.
Right.
Doing whatever we had to do. Regardless. And we had a lot of help from. At least I know I did. A lot of help from my parents.
Yeah.
My wife's parents. I remember. 15-year-old Jose was. Putting kids to bed and changing diapers and helping out.
Right.
You just do what you got to do to get by.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't mean I want my kids to have that same struggle.
Right.
Because it was a struggle.
But
I wouldn't change it.
I tell people if you don't struggle, if you didn't have to struggle, you don't know what life is about.
Right.
And like I said, I come from a family of 8. I'm the baby of 8, and we struggled. The Hogan struggled. I mean, believe me, I had to use. I always got their gear, but I was the 2 cookie kid. You want to know what that means? Everybody else got 1 cookie, and my mother always gave the baby 2 cookies. She's like, I got 1 more around the corner for you. So that was a good thing,
Yeah.
So, but hey, if kids struggle a little bit and that they learn that's how you learn, just from your past struggles,
Speaking of that, growing up, struggles and stuff. And so you grew up Marion Gardens, projects. I grew up Current Circle projects. And now you're, had to stop the violence. Violence is different now than when we were kids. I mean, we would just get in a fight. And
right.
You'd be riding big wheels or bikes and stuff 10 minutes later with a black eye or whatever. It's different now.
Well, some of the kids on the classical football team will say it. They'll say, we don't even fight anymore. We won't fight because if you fight a kid, you don't know what he's going to do. He might go grab a weapon or something like that.
Why can't the kids just fight?
Right. I mean, it's how it used to be. It used to be, Vinny and Fred had a disagreement. They had a fight and it was over.
And you go about your business.
You went about your business. And now kids have guns.
And this is where I'm supposed to put in a disclaimer. I'm not condoning fighting.
Right.
But I am.
Right.
I think you should.
It's the way it was the way it was handled back in the old schools. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was the way it was handled. So.
Yeah. Jose just clicked on the link to the podcast. Yeah. We had a little feedback there. That's all good. But yeah, now I think it's the fact that you get these, I want to group people together, but so you have certain groups of people who are opposed to violence and fighting. And I'm not saying there's a good violence or bad violence, but I think there are some acceptable levels of, like I said, fist fighting, settling things, get kids into boxing, jiu-jitsu, martial arts, stuff like that. So they have channels and they know how to defend themselves or their families as they get older. So they'd be less prone to act out in that aggressive manner of violence because they're not, it's like a little dog. The little dog ain't barking at you because he wants to attack you. He's barking at you because he doesn't want you to attack him.
Right.
So I think it's the same thing with kids nowadays. They don't know how to fight. So that's where they go for that weapon.
Right.
Instead of just saying, all right, let's go, put up your dukes or whatever,
Absolutely.
Let's go. You remember, it seemed like every high school dance when I was in high school, I had the dance, they had the DJs, but there was always wait till we get outside.
Right.
Wait till after school.
Oh yeah.
And now stuff goes down now. There's guns, there's knives, there's whatever,
Yeah.
You got kids bringing guns into grade school.
Yeah, right. It's tough, I mean, one thing, Lynn has a good school police officer that they watch over all that stuff there. They all the schools have cameras in them now. The cameras go to a centrally located feed and they can review them and stuff like that there. And I think everyone's more aware what to look for now too. You know what I mean? With all the past shootings, all the doors in every Lynn school is labeled with a number. so they know what door.
Gotcha.
They get a universal, way of handling situations.
Don't crack the code. We don't want them to know.
Right.
Don't tell them the numbering system.
Right.
We'll figure that out.
So they have that there. So it's just the way we live now.
Yeah.
It's tough,
It is. I don't know if there's any going back. I don't know if there's any reversing it at this point.
Right.
I want to say there's no way to get rid of the violence, but I don't think there's any way to, once you reach that level of security in the schools and stuff, I don't see it diminishing. You know what I mean?
All right. See, violence is weird because it can pop up at any time.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's not like something, to control it, it's usually spur of the moment. So it just happens, like someone gets mad at somebody and they reach for a weapon, you know what I mean? How are you going to stop that? That's hard to stop. You know what I mean? So,
So I saw you, put some stuff up on Facebook, and again, you're really grounded to the community. It was boxing, right?
Yes.
What was his name? He's from Lynn.
Alex. Rashidi Ellis. Rashidi Ellis is
Yeah.
21-0. He just won the other night, and he's under the De La Hoya.
Is that middleweight? What is that?
He's a smaller weight. I really don't know.
I don't watch much
Right.
boxing. I'm more
Right.
MMA.
So he's 21-0, and he's on Golden Boy production, which is Oscar De La Hoya. So there's actually some good boxers in Lynn right now. You got Rashidi, you got his sister Rashida, Kyrie Todd, who's very successful, doing very well. There's a nice boxing gym over on Summer Street. Alex Sapreda does it. Private Jewels.
Where's that at?
You know where Summer Street is, where the railroad tracks across, and there's it's like a convenience store across from the gas station. It's on the second floor. It's called
Okay.
Private Jewels Fitness, and he's actually got a big show coming up in Lynn, coming up in Lynn Tech next month. It's going to be like 20 matches, and it's going to be New England Silver Mittens. So there's a lot of Lynn kids involved in that too.
Is there a website or something that?
Yeah, he has a Facebook. He has a Facebook.
And what's the name of it again?
He's Alex Sapulia. He actually has it's called Private Jewels Fitness, and he's actually got the Golden Gloves coming up next month.
At
Silver Mittens at Lynn Tech. Yep. So
where they do that right in the gym?
yeah, they got a real ring. They got real referees and judges and stuff like that there. And actually, we did a show together 2 years ago for Stop the Violence Lynn, and it was very successful. And now he's bringing boxing to Lynn, which is good, and getting kids involved.
I agree, because just back to my point is, I think having an outlet like that, and kids knowing how to defend themselves, they'd be less prone to go to
Right.
that next level of violence,
Right.
where they can settle it with their hands and
Especially
say,
they
"Come down to the gym."
Yeah,
Let's
and
get in the ring.
they channeled it into something like that.
Yeah.
There, you know what I mean?
There's sports, football, I mean, it's all good for that
Right,
stuff.
and that's what we're doing. We're trying to do a little bit. We're not just trying to. I do focus on sports with the Stop the Violence. We do a lot of sport. We do 3-on-3 basketball tournaments. We do basketball events. We do a flag football tournament, which now turned to 7-on-7 because that's what's popular now. So we do all these free events for kids to do, and we got some people trying to get into their arts too, because you got to direct kids to do everything, arts and music, and
Of course.
and there's a lot of good programs in Lynn, and people got to understand that there is a lot of stuff to do in Lynn. You just have to find out where they're at and get the resources. So when people say, "Oh, there's nothing to do in Lynn," that's not true. It's not true.
There's a
A
lot.
lot of good people doing stuff too, and a lot of people doing positive stuff. You got No Ceilings with Tony Seaforth, which he helps kids out with their academics and stuff like that. Duke Wilson's been head of Pop Warner down in Eastland for a while. He does a great job. You got Amy and Robinson and Andre Robinson down at Westland Pop Warner. You get the Chargers. We have 3 football organizations. We also have a spring football league now, which they played all spring, which was pretty cool, going down to Lynn Tech and seeing football games in April and May. That was pretty cool.
And, we have a lot of talent, football-wise anyways, in Lynn. Eastland, And Westland now, actually, they're regulars down at the national, right, in Florida, right?
Yeah, Westland's one of.
It seems like they're always going down there. And I've said for years and years, imagine you got the big high schools, you got Brockton, Everett, the big schools. Imagine if Lynn had one high school. We'd never lose.
But kids wouldn't play. Think about it.
It'd be pretty selective.
We had 90 kids come out for classical football. That's one school. English had a lot. Lynn Tech had a lot. Kip Academy had a lot. St. Mary's had a lot. Now you put one team out there, there's a lot of kids that's not going to play.
True.
You know, they did do it, the Lynn Lions. They did it 1 year, 2 years, and it didn't work. It just
too big.
Yeah, it was just too big. You know, they tried that way back, and it didn't work. So that's the only thing. I would like to put a Lynn football team.
We'd never lose.
We would never lose.
Never.
We would definitely not lose. That's.
Now you get people
facts.
in those big cities like, oh yeah, we'd beat you.
No, they
wouldn't. It's too.
It
big.
just wouldn't happen. Brockton, Everett.
Imagine just to make that team.
Right, to make that team. That's what I'm saying.
I know I would have made it. You know, right back in the day, I would have made it.
We got two real good quarterbacks in the city right now with Keith Ridley Jr. and Severance over in English. You know, so imagine have to picking from them two guys, or you know, it would just be. You know, we got running backs. Everyone's got running backs. Last year, every team jumped up to a 5-6-0 start. They got. Did it stop at 6-0? I thought it was like 7 or 6-0. Maybe stopped it. I think because
everyone had a great season.
Yeah, everyone had a great season. So you know, English got won their Northeastern Conference title. Classical won their Northeast Conference title. James Runner won his. So did St. Mary's. So everyone did real well. And then you add Kip Academy, and they've got a football team now too. So there's 5.
What league are they in?
They're in the Commonwealth now. They just switched. They're in Commonwealth, the same as Tech.
Yeah, all right.
They're in that league now.
So they compete against like teams in Boston and stuff too, right?
They were doing just the kid. They were just going with the charter school league.
Yeah.
But now they're into Massachusetts now. Wow. Into the MIAA. So it's pretty cool.
Excellent. And your son, your youngest, he played basketball. Did he play football too?
Yeah, he played football his whole life. And in his freshman year, he fractured his wrist at English, and he told me, "I'm retiring from football." I said, "All right, you know."
It's a rough sport.
He had a good. He did well at Lynn English. Yeah, scored his 1,000 point. He was on the banner in the gym, so it was kind of cool because he was playing the same time I was coaching, which was hard for me to watch him. So I could only watch tournament games, and I could only watch like special tournaments and stuff like that there. But, you know, the success of the girls program and the boys program at the time was unbelievable. And there was a point that both teams were ranked in the top 5 in the state of Massachusetts together. Wow. One high school, which that was really cool. And that was going on too. So, you know, just to see, you know, Lynn teams being ranked that high, you know, and, you know, it was really special. It's good times, you know.
It's a good deal.
And it's fun. There's a lot of talent in Lynn. It's just so fun, you know. And a lot of my friends are coaches, you know what I mean? So, and like I said, you know, the Lynn English staff, I coached almost every single kid who's on the English staff, you know, football staff.
Yeah.
You know, sometime of their lives, I coached them, you know, whether it was in basketball, football, whatever. So, you know, you see that all around. You know, you got James Runner, who's a coach at Tech. You know, you get David Brown. I grew up with him. He's the head coach at St. Mary's. You know, it's pretty cool. Antonio Anderson, I coached him when he was 10 years old. You know, he's a head coach at Lynn English. You know, all these guys, you know, doing positive things in the city. You know, that's what it means. People say there's not stuff to do, but all these guys are doing stuff. They're all out there doing things. And I tell people, hey, don't complain. Just jump on and do it.
Yeah, make the change.
Make the change. I mean, if you know, one thing I try not to do is complain. You know what I mean? Because then people say, "Well, if you complain, you want to do something, just do it." And that's what I've always done. If I come up with an idea, we just do it. We just say, "Hey, they're like, oh my God, you got that off the ground?" Yeah, I got off the ground. We're doing it. People are like, "You're crazy, man. How'd you do that?" I said, "Oh, just do it.
Just do it."
You know.
So you know enough people, definitely to get things done. I think I'm not sure exactly what the parameters or the boundaries are of Ward 6. I know they're obviously they're your neighborhood. Do you have to live in the ward to run for the ward?
Yeah. It's the Shepherd Street area, Marion Gardens, out to the Linway. Goes across Western Ave. A little part goes right up into Pine Hill, just a little part, and it's a big ward because it covers a lot of area. It covers GE, it covers the Linway, it covers over by River Street behind the MBT garage. So it's actually a big area. So it's a lot. You know.
Awesome. Did you have anything else that you wanted to cover or bring up or let people know? How can they support you?
We're always going to look for people to join the team, and that's what we're doing. It's called Team Ward 6, and I want people involved. I want people to feel like they have a part of the ward, especially people that live there. One of my little things is each ward has precincts in it, so each ward is divided into precincts also, and that's where you vote. Each precinct votes at a different place. So each precinct, I have an idea to have like a precinct captain. So if you live up in that part, you'll be the captain of that area, and then you'll have a direct line to me, which everyone's gonna have a direct line to me anyway. You can reach me many different ways.
So, you're easy to get a hold of.
Yeah. So I have ideas like that. I want people to feel like they're a part of it, like I am. I've been a part of Ward 6 because I've been with Pete Capano. I've always had a part of that there. So I want people to do the same thing. I want them to be a part of where they live. And if they have ideas, let's do them. If we can get them done, let's do them, And I'll teach people, complaining only goes so far, but if you go out and actually do it, like people were complaining about the city being messy. So they started a group called Keep Lynn Clean. And you know what they did? They went out and cleaned streets all summer.
Crazy idea, right?
Yeah, crazy. It was real hard. No, these guys went out there and did it. They didn't talk about it. They did it. And that's what people got to understand. You can complain about anything, but if you just go out there and do it, makes it easy, Yeah,
I believe in not presenting a problem unless you have a solution.
Exactly.
You got to make that change. So, do you fear what you don't know? And what I mean by that is the grass green or any other side? In other words, when you get elected, are you fearful of what constraints or anything you might face, obstacles that you can't see now, to keep you from doing everything you want to do?
I know I can't get discouraged if everything that I want done doesn't get done, because obviously I'm going to have to win certain battles and I'm going to have to lose certain battles. And I understand that. And I have to be level-headed and I have to be smart and I will win some of the things that I want done. You know what I mean? We already got some things in the work for the ward that, that we've been doing for years already. You know what I mean? So some of those things are in the works already. And me, I have ideas, and I have a lot of ideas, which, to talk with people and see if they're possible. And I won't bring them on unless they're possible. At least if they're possible, that we can do them or we can get them done, So, right now I'm a lot of people are contacting me that they're going to give me their support. And that's the whole thing. If you have a good support group, and I've always been a part of a team sport. So I want this to be everyone, in my area. I want them to feel like, let's make our ward a proud ward, and let's not make it say, oh, wow, that area down there is this. No, that's Ward 6. Make it proud to be part of
make
Ward
it a
6.
community, actual community.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So,
do you foresee winning changing you at all?
That's what I don't want. I'm already. That's what I'm nervous about.
Right.
I'm nervous that people would perceive me as being different. And
perception's reality.
Perception's right. And I don't want to. I don't want to do that. I always tell people I'm not a politician. But they go, well, Fred, you are a politician because you are a coach, and you had to adjust to different things, and you had to do this here, and you had to do stuff like that there. But I don't want to change. I want to be the same person that you see me at. I'll come over your house, we hang out, we talk, I'll sit on your front porch and we'll talk the same way we do now. What I mean? If someone grabs my ear and says, Fred, what do you think about this here? I say, hey, I think we can get that done. You know what I mean? So, and the one good thing is I do know a lot of people, and a lot of people respect me and they like me. And right now, people call me for stuff. They've been calling me for years for stuff, and if I can give them some assistance with them, I help them out with it.
Yeah.
So just want to stay respectable and I understand everyone's not going to like what you do. You have to. That's the part that does bother me a little when people don't like you for no reason. And
something they heard,
unless they just come out and talk to you.
But you're approachable enough, they can just ask. Hey,
absolutely,
man,
and that's
what were you
what
thinking? What do you mean?
This is what I was thinking. Right. That's what I want people to understand is that I never been a politician, so I guess I'm not a politician yet. But
don't
become one, right? And so,
well, I said on the last podcast, politicians suck, and I said except for Fred, because I don't see you as. I mean, you've been the same for so long,
right?
You stay true to yourself, and like you said, you reach that point where you got to make a decision to go left or go right, and as long as you make it your decision and you're good with your decision, you stick by it and you go with it. You just try to make more right decisions than wrong ones.
Absolutely. That's what you want to do.
It's kind of the same thing. Well, good. So I had people ask, one particular friend on Facebook, what's the topic?
Right.
There really is no topic. It's definitely a free form. You came into the mindset of, I asked you, what do you want to talk about? And you said, whatever. It wasn't, I would need to come on and push my campaign. It was, because you agreed to coming on before you even announced it.
Right. We weren't going to say one word about that.
Yeah. It was, I really wanted to stress, to stop the violence in the movement and your involvement, because I think that's really important. The whole Ward 6 counselor is just, it's awesome.
Right.
I wish you the best. Hopefully you do win. That guy from your union doesn't run against you, because that'll be.
He lives in the hunt, so we got him. He's out of the question.
That'll be a kiss of death. Yeah, imagine you see his name pop up on that ballot.
He's out of the question. He'd have to move from the hunt to Lynn. So I don't think that's happening.
You see his name, and you just. He would be someone else's campaign manager. You never know.
Right.
He's coming for you.
Yeah, he's coming for
Does he still work there?
Yes, he does. He still works.
Actually,
I coached his son in basketball too, so I didn't hold anything against him. So it's
you gave him plenty of play time, right?
Oh yeah. Well, I actually coached basketball at Swampscott last year, so his son was on the JV team.
Good.
So
good. Another thing, maybe I'm wrong. So I follow your posts and stuff all the time. So on your I think it was the first year it switched over to Shoe City Classic. That's a tough one to say. Did you coach someone through English that made it into the NBA?
Oh yeah, Antonio.
Right.
He had a short stint. He got a couple of good 10-day contracts and did very well. So
I think that's important for people watching, or if you have kids or whatever, it certainly encourage them to pursue their dreams, but be realistic about the percentages of actually making, because as good as he was,
I tell kids all the time, you want to see college basketball, go to a Division III game right over at Salem State. And now you tell me where you think your game is and how hard you have to work. How hard you have to work to be a Division I athlete, never mind an NBA player.
And keep your grades up too.
Right, and keep your grades up. And it didn't help. It didn't help that Antonio's a 6'6" guard. All right. So remember that.
Yeah.
When most high school basketball teams' biggest player is 6'5", and he's a center. So I tell kids, always have a dream, but make sure your dream is a reality too. You know what I mean? Have your dream, but go work your butt off, but go over to Salem State, like I said, and watch a couple of them Division III games. I was coaching at Fisher College. I did that for 1 year, and the men's team was unbelievable. I was like, wow, these kids came from California, from all over the place for Fisher, and I watched them lose by 20 points one game, and I'm like, wow. And they had some unbelievable players on the team. So it's like, watch some of those games, and then you'll see. You'll see. So
they say what the top 1% or something like that, and I could be off, of high school players make it to Division I, and then the top 1% of them actually make it into the pro level. Regardless of you pick your sport.
Think about basketball. 12 players on a team.
Yeah.
On a team, never mind playing. Coach. You play 8 players, maybe if you get to number 8.
Yeah.
That's the reality of it. You don't see
How many
many coaches
thousands
playing.
of teams are there in
You
the
don't see
country?
many coaches playing 10 players. It's just hard to go that deep.
Yeah.
And you know, basketball is a hard sport. That's why I tell kids, Tony Anderson was a multi-sport athlete. He could play football and he could play basketball.
Make yourself marketable.
And
for
make
the
yourself
big schools,
marketable.
yeah.
And when you're in high school, do as many things as possible. You know, do as many things as possible. Because guess what? Your high school, you're going to remember that more. Your high school career is big for you. You know what I mean?
Enjoy your time.
Enjoy it. If you can play football, if you can play basketball, do them both. Do them both. And then, you know, I have kids that were better at basketball than were football, but guess what? They got scholarships in football because there's more scholarships on a football team.
Yeah.
You know?
Bigger team.
Right, exactly. Bigger team. So, you know, absolutely. That's one thing I always tell kids, you know, I say, hey, work hard. You know, like one thing with my son, Freddie, is I try to let him know. I said, hey, the worst thing that you got going for is you're a 5'10", 5'9" guard. That's nowadays they're looking for these big dudes. These dudes are 6'3", 6. You know what I mean? You see a point guard in the NBA now; they're huge.
Yeah.
You know, these dudes are. You know, so you have to be. If you're a smaller guard, you have to be absolutely quicker, better, faster. Your jump shot has to be the best thing in the world. You know, you have to be able to stick the jump shot.
Everybody's shooting them outside.
Everybody's shooting them outside. The big guys are shooting them outside. The
Seven footers are just draining it.
That's what they're doing. It's all work.
It's crazy.
But I will tell you, nowadays, with all these guys, Dave Brown, Antonio, and all these guys, Tony Gallo, they're all doing these things. These kids are getting more fundamentals than ever before.
Really?
You know what I mean? I mean, they got skills and drills, things everywhere. They're always doing them. So these kids are learning at a young age. So I think we're going to have a wave of kids coming up in the next 5 to 10 years. It's going to be unbelievable. So we're going to see some good ball players.
So you see a lot of talent on just your annual tournament.
Yeah, the tournament.
How far away do those players come?
People come from, if they're in town, if they're around, they always come down to play, you know.
Do you have NBA talent show up?
Oh, yeah, NBA. Yeah. But we had one year, we had like probably 4 or 5 guys.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I never got down to see yours, but my brother-in-law, they started one in memory of their mom.
Yeah.
And the first year they did it, they had, a handful of teams, and it got bigger, and it's gotten bigger. But they have now a handful of pros that come and compete.
Right.
And when I say pro, I mean NBA, not.
And the great thing about Jose's tournament in memory of his mother is they play on a wooden surface.
Yeah.
So NBA players will play on that. They don't like playing on a blacktop
Why is
because
that?
the knees and things like that.
Really?
There, yeah. And a lot of the big guys would be like, yeah, if that tournament was inside, I'd play in it. But
it's hot.
It's the tournament.
In August too.
The tournaments. That tournament's not made for that. It's made to be in the middle of Marion Gardens. It's made to be outside. It's made.
The environment is a big part of the tournament.
That's what it's made to, and that's how we always did it. And and there's a lot of tournaments around now. I actually went over to the tournament, saw Jose's tournament. Pat Connaughton was playing because Jarrell was playing with me on my team, so I just went over there, checked that game out for a little bit.
Yeah,
and that was one of those days I went from work to over there, then I had to be somewhere else. I was like,
as every one of those days is one of those.
Yeah,
days
it's like people say, Fred, I need you to come to here. I'm like, oh, I'm going to come here to there. Like today, we actually we went backwards today. We had study hall, and then we had film, and we were on the field last today. So I had to sneak out at 10 after and hit the road to make it here on time. So it's pretty cool.
Well, you had plenty of time.
Oh, yeah.
So
right.
You could have stayed.
Oh, yeah.
Don't blame it on me.
Easy. Might get me fired, man.
Yeah, so it's a good time. The basketball tournament that they host it's indoor, like you said. It's wood. It's old school. There's no AC.
Yeah.
It gets hot.
Right. You had to move the shit because the floor sweated up.
Yeah, they moved over to the junior. Was it junior high school?
Yeah,
was it Breed, right?
Yeah.
Because it was just too slippery. But then that's the artificial surface, right? In Breed.
Right, then that's rubber, right?
Yeah.
That's terrible court.
So we got to figure that
Marshall
out.
Middle School is actually the best in Lynn now. It has AC.
Yeah.
Marshall Middle has AC, so,
Food for thought.
Yeah.
Food for thought. So if the Patriots make it this year, are you guys going?
All right, here's what we did last year. My childhood friend Mike Florio and his son because there was no way we were going to Minnesota for a Super Bowl. We were not going to
hang out in the mall.
No. So
It's a big mall.
So
though.
he went to the Super Bowl. So Atlanta is a place this year. Last time we got our tickets in December. Our plane tickets, $200. That's what we paid for our plane tickets to Houston. And so I think Atlanta's already, the prices are already up there a little bit. So
Especially if they see you buying it from New England.
well, you just buy. Well, you just buy. You just buy.
Well, yeah, it's not cheap to go down there. I think.
See, with $200, you could just throw that ticket away. That's what.
Right.
If the Patriots didn't make it, I was not going to go to Houston.
Just buy the insurance. It's like $15 and just reschedule.
Man, that would've been
Take one of those weekend trips, empty nest it, just go to Vegas or,
Absolutely.
Go someplace warm in the middle of February or beginning of February.
Right. Absolutely.
So I wanted to go for a while, but my work schedule doesn't.
It's special. It's probably one of them things that, we kept saying, because my wife she don't like sports. She don't like football. That's another reason why everything worked for me in my life, because she don't like sports. So I could just go and do my sports and it all worked out. So I told my wife it was a bucket list item when I went to the first Super Bowl. And
what was your excuse on the second one?
Bucket list item.
Oh, no, the second one, because the first one you didn't get to go.
Right. So I had to go that time. So
how are you gonna get your way into it this year? The bucket list is checked off.
I don't know. Maybe there's something in Atlanta that she
could
might
be
want
Brady's
to come
last
see.
year.
Yeah, right.
You got to go watch the GOAT.
Yeah, we'll see how those numbers are. Those numbers could be pretty good. But that stadium's unbelievable. The new Atlanta stadium is unbelievable. So it's a brand new stadium too. So yeah, pretty cool.
Perfect. So you pretty much follow all the pro sports?
Yes.
Baseball, hockey, football, all the big
I don't really
sports.
watch a lot of hockey, and I like baseball. Just I put the game on, but now I'm watching the games. You know what I mean? But I go to probably Fenway once every 4 or 5 years, to be honest. We actually go to
probably about as much as I do.
We go to more Patriot games in other stadiums than we do Gillette. It's pretty weird. We were doing an annual trip to Miami every year.
I remember that.
We actually took a little break from that. It got kind of too big. We were up to like 50 people or something like that. It's just.
I have friends down there that come up here for the Miami game.
Right. That's better. Yeah.
They saw you last time, the Taylors.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Taylors, huh?
Dave Taylor, Amy Taylor.
Oh, they saw us out there?
Yeah.
We had a nice spot. We took a whole area up too. Yeah. We because we get a party bus, so it's pretty nice. And what we did is everyone gets a shirt, everyone gets food and drink is all included, and they just buy their ticket to the game on their own, and they have to get their own stay in place, but they get the bus. They get to go on the bus with us. So that's how we did.
You guys drive the bus down?
No, we get the bus out there. Okay. We rent it out there, and it meets us in one location at one of the hotels. And then we all meet there.
So it's not something that you actually rent and drive. It comes.
No, they have a driver and a bartender.
That's good. You don't have to worry about any DUIs or any of that.
Nothing like that. No way.
Stuff, especially if you win. If the Patriots win, they might not be so lenient.
Well, they actually.
Patriots fan.
We had a lot of losses in Miami, and they won the last couple of times too.
Tough place to play.
Good. Yeah. They put a roof on the stadium now. Hard Rock put a roof on the Miami Stadium, which before used to just get baked out there, like the sun would just destroy.
I couldn't do it.
Yeah,
I couldn't do it. I'm way too fair skinned.
That's what it is with Gillette. We have our own bar now, the Hogan's Tavern. My brother has, so we don't. Really, we do more events together. You know what I mean? That's what the Patriots have done for my family. Is it gives us something to do every week.
Oh, where is that?
It's in Saugus, my brother's house. He built an addition on his house, and it's above the garage, and it's just unbelievable.
So it's a actual business?
No,
it's like a big man cave type of.
It's a super man cave.
I got Vince's bar right over there, so I'm growing. I'm sure his is bigger than that.
You got your own private house out here. This is like you could get thrown out, get over there, right?
Kinda, yeah, for sure. Actually, but I'll show you when we're done. Under here is the custom poker table. I'm big into poker. That's like my one hobby besides football.
Will you go to the
know.
the Encore
When it
Casino?
opens? Absolutely. I mean, right now, 15 minutes from here is Seabrook Poker Room.
Oh,
right over the line, New Hampshire. I play there.
Now, do you do tournaments or cash games?
Both. It's
different.
If you play, do you play?
I do play a little bit, but I'm not good.
So I'm better than average. I win more than I lose.
So you're a patient dude that can just sit there and play for 10 hours.
It depends on what playlist I put on. Because I put my AirPods in, and at least one of them, because I don't want to be super rude,
Right.
And I'll put my playlist in. I think I play better with music in, because it keeps my brain busy, so I don't get impatient. Because I'm just listening to music,
cards and everything. And
with Texas Hold'em is really
not count cards. I'm saying all the numbers.
Yeah. So there's percentages. Like with blackjack, you count cards because there's so many face cards, so many you could percentages that way too. But with and Hold'em, Texas Hold'em, is not really, you can't really count the cards,
right?
Because the deck shuffled every time.
But
so your percentages. These 52 cards in a deck.
Here's how I play. I get the two big boys.
I like these cards, right?
Yeah, I get the two.
Listen,
and then they call me fold, play.
That works.
When I play, if you want to go at it with me, you come on and come get
so
it.
If you're
no bluffing with me.
Yeah, I don't bluff much either.
Yeah, there's no bluffing with me.
At least on record, I won't admit to bluffing much.
Right.
So, no, but I also play in Foxwoods as much as I can. But that's 2.5 hours, 3 hours from here.
We got a good friend, Flynn Menelese. He's a really good player. He's going to be the guy that we're going to sponsor for the big one.
Yeah,
we keep talking about that. So we're gonna. What's it? 10,000 to get in that one.
The main event, it's 10,000. But there's a lot of smaller tournaments too.
Right, he can play to get into that. To try to win
put
satellites.
He can
try to win to get in.
And Foxwoods hosts.
He actually went for 10 days. He actually got into some of the smaller ones.
Yeah,
he was actually doing very well too. And
nice.
He almost
There's
had
another Lynn guy.
Yeah, he almost had the $10,000.
And where does he play normally?
He plays all over the place. He used to play at like Silver Fox over there.
I played there too.
Yeah, he used to play over there. He probably drives out to the casinos too. Yeah. He's just one of them guys, a real smooth dude.
So he plays tournaments mostly.
Yeah, he plays. He's real good.
It's definitely a different mindset.
He's an 8-hour guy. He's a guy that could just sit there and just grind it out. Me, you'll be throwing me out.
Yeah. So when we're done, I'll open it up. I'll show you. My wife was nice enough to let me get it. I had it custom made down at K&J Poker Tables. I think it's in Tennessee.
They shipped it.
Man, 800 pounds.
Wow.
With the box and everything. So me and my oldest son were trying to get it out of the pickup. Because we went down and picked it up. Wow. Not in Tennessee, but at the shipping place. It was like 20 minutes from here. So they loaded it with a forklift, and we saw the truck sink.
Wow.
Me and my wife picked it up, and immediately I was like, "Oh man, I'm in trouble," because I knew it was only going to be two of us unloading it.
Right.
And so by the time we got here, it was dark out. So we're out in the dark trying to undo the box in the bed of the truck, and it just wouldn't budge.
Wow.
And so the table itself, even without the box, it's 500 pounds all day long.
Right.
I got USB ports built in, so people can charge their phones while they're playing.
Wave.
If you look, you see the nail studs, and I'm sorry, this isn't real great for the podcast because they can't see it. So it's 66. Bullets. That's my football number.
Oh,
so
right.
yeah, and you'll see the inside later on. But so this coming Saturday, I'm hosting my opening night, my first game. I got some other stuff in the room for people to do too. Obviously we got flat screens, and it'd be a good time. But yeah, you're more than welcome, man.
Oh, I'd lose, man.
Fold. I just gotta know if you're in hand.
They used to call me $100 Freddy Jose. Those tournaments they used to have everywhere. I came with 100, and that's it. That's all you're getting from me. Yeah, I know.
I never gamble more than I can lose.
No, man, I'm not.
No, listen, I've lost. I've done my share of losing. So I learned to play when I was in the Coast Guard.
Right.
We'd go out to sea for 12 weeks.
Right.
And
you got to play, right? Do something.
It cost me a lot of money to learn.
Oh, yeah.
Because they don't teach you for free.
No,
you buy in your $20, and it was nickel, dime, quarter.
That's one thing I never. I'm lucky because.
Yeah, it's definitely gambling, but so I don't really do blackjack, although I have a blackjack shoe.
Right.
So when guys come over, they want to play blackjack, we'll play blackjack. I'll deal.
Right.
I'm going to win.
Right.
I won't deal for less than 3 people.
Right. Was the deal always win? Is that what happened?
More often than not, in blackjack, the deal is going to make money if he's got at least 2 or 3 people in front of him. You don't want to go head to head because it's a draw. It's 50-50.
It's a percentage game.
But I've lost more than I care to admit on camera, and single hands. So if you understand the hold'em, you get your 2 hold cards, then you get your flop, you get the turn, you get the river.
Mm-hmm.
Man, the river is cruel.
Oh, it's cruel.
I've drowned in many rivers.
Yeah,
it's just brutal.
I saw people.
And people, and it's a lot of strategy about betting, because if you don't bet just right and you let someone what we call limp in,
right,
and they hit like their 7-9 offsuit,
then they got it right,
and they flop a straight, and you have a pair of aces, and all of a sudden you don't see anything on the board you're scared of, and they don't know how to play. And so like you're saying, fold, bet.
Right.
Those are the people who are dangerous.
Right. Because you don't know, they could bluff too.
Lucky is always going to beat a good player. Larry Bird rather be lucky than good, right?
That's true.
I'd rather be lucky than good, but I'd rather be lucky and good.
Yeah.
That's dangerous.
Yeah, I like watching people play. See, I DJ'd on a casino boat, so that was what I did.
You wait for them to get all liquored up.
Yeah.
Hey, I'll play.
I could play because I was an employee of the boat.
Right.
So I would do that, and I would.
It's just that friendly DJ coming over to play.
And I would fold, and wait till I get the 2 big ones and play. And guess what? They would all play against me. They would all challenge me. How wouldn't they know? I'm only playing one way. If I got it, I'm playing. If I don't, you know what I mean?
Well, maybe they think they got it too.
Yeah, they didn't have what I had, because I always played with 2 big boys.
More often than not, if you got in the hand, you win.
Yes.
You're more than welcome to come over, man.
I had 3 people go all in on me once on that boat, and I beat all 3 of them in that one hand.
That's a good feeling.
Because they went hard right off the bat, and I went real hard off the bat, and then it was on.
It's just like playing bingo.
It was on.
Good stuff.
The guys would laugh at me. The guy that ran the poker table, he was like, wow, the DJs. What are you getting paid to DJ? You're getting like 3. It's like you get the DJ money, and then you're getting the poker money, huh?
Hey,
I told him, I said, I don't know how to play real good. I'm just going to play 2 good hands. If I get 2 real good cards, that's it.
You warned them.
I didn't want anyone at the table. Just the guy running the tables. Put it this way, I got free burgers and everything because I always had money.
It's actually against the rules in poker to tell the truth about your hand.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've been spoken to at card tables a few times where I've been like, I just have, whatever, ace king. And turns out I had ace king. You're like, you can't do that. What are you talking about? It's collusion. It could be cheating.
Oh, wow.
So.
Oh, right.
I just sometimes I'll tell them like, I need this to make my hand, and then that comes out, and I'm like, I got it. You sure you want to still play? And they think you're bullshitting, so they bet. I fucking told you, I had it.
Right.
Then you're the bad guy. So you don't gamble really at all, so no slots, no blackjack.
No, I've been to Foxwoods. That's how many times?
Twice.
Once. You know who I went with, Jose? Sherelle and Marcos. A long time ago. One time in my life.
Yeah.
One time. That's
did you win?
Probably not.
You don't even remember.
It was so long ago, and I've never been to Mohegan Sun. So
I've been to Mohegan Sun once last month to audition for Survivor.
Oh, they just had an audition at Gillette Stadium.
I know. I couldn't make it. I wanted to go, but we're one of the dealerships I work at. We're in the middle of an audit. So that was the day of the audit.
Now, how does that work? What do you do? Do you try out? Do you do an obstacle course?
No, I wish, man. No, so you can get on a few different ways. So the most obvious way is you go to the website, you fill out the application, and it tells you can submit up to a 3-minute video.
Right.
So I think that's the best way because you can edit the video, you can select what you want in it. You can chop it up, put it together, the live auditions, like the one I went to, the one you're talking about, that was at Patriots Place. It's usually hosted by like a local TV station, and you wait in line, you fill out your form, your name, phone number, contact information, and they give you a number. You stand in front of the camera, boom, this is my name. You have 1 minute, one take, no redos, no cut, no pause. They give you a 5-second warning when you get 5 seconds left, and you need to wrap it up. I ran out of time. So I did it back in 2012. Me and my youngest son drove down to Trump Taj Mahal in Jersey, Atlantic City. That's Jersey, right?
Yeah,
I think so. And we waited. We drove. We left at like 1 a.m. We drove all night, and we were like 300th in line when we got there at 7 a.m. The audition didn't start till 1. So we waited, and it was, man, I blew that. I know I blew that one. But the tough part is they don't even tell you if you make it. It's just, so this particular one I just did, they have until March to tell me if I made it.
Right.
Like if they want to choose me, they'll call you. But if they don't want you, they don't say, hey, we're not picking you. They just don't. They don't call you.
Absolutely right.
So it's fun though. I've wanted to get on it. I've watched that show from day one.
Yeah, people at my job watch too. I watch a little bit, but it just gets hard to watch shows like every time when they're on. You know what I mean?
I DVR it too, but I watch them all live, and then a lot of times I'll watch it again.
Right.
And I'm actually going through the seasons again, watching them all,
so you can see the little tricks of the trade.
Oh, there's definitely for sure. I mean,
skill.
Most of it's like common sense stuff. I think people get on there and they get whether it's dehydrated or malnourished or hungry, or just they don't get along well with people.
Right.
When people get hungry and thirsty, they start acting up.
Yeah, you get attitudes and stuff.
And
right?
your mind slips a little bit, and you forget you're in a game and get loaded off the island. See ya.
Oh yeah.
See you later. So I don't know. I'm glad you're one of my first guests. My first real guest. Chris is a real guest too, but like I say, he's kind of like my co-host. But when we finally decided to do it, Nori and I was like, I got to get Fred on.
Yeah, definitely. I said I'll come in. We played Pop One together way back.
Way back. So Barry Park.
Mismatched helmets, man. Westland Pop One days, man. I had a black one, then he had a green one, dude had a yellow one.
If you're lucky, you had the horns on the side.
Oh yeah. Oh man,
that was a good time. I mean, every kid, just listen. You got to play sports. And no knock on people who don't play them, but I think it makes you a more rounded person. If you do, it's just the team concept and learning how to deal with people.
The team concept helps. It helps a lot.
It
helps in life. It does.
Yeah.
It does.
Kind of the same idea when people get out of the military. Now society is coming around where that's a desirable employee.
That's in the funny. That's one thing that I probably wish that I did do.
Yeah, but then you wouldn't be able to do everything else.
Right. I know.
So
that's
it's you choose your path in life, right?
Yeah, that's funny because that's. I never got a recruiter never really got a hold of me.
Me neither. I wanted to be Rambo. That was when Rambo was out. I mean, I was on the waiting list after I flunked out of the academy. I was on the waiting list for the Coast Guard. And I was living with my grandmother at the time. I was roofing with my friend Russell. And I was like, I'm done waiting. Right. And I was closing the door to my grandmother's apartment and the phone rang. I thought it was her. I went back in and answered the phone. I was actually going to go down to the Marine recruiter, join the Marines. But when I answered the phone, it was the Coast Guard recruiter saying, your number's up. When can you come in?
Wow.
And I was like, I'm on my way to the recruiter right now. So he said, come on in. And that was awesome. 8 years in the Coast Guard. I mean, I got lucky. I spent a couple years in Alaska. I was up there for the Valdez oil spill. And I got stationed back in Boston. I was on a cutter in Boston, actually stationed with my father on the boat. Right. That was really cool. We did a lot of our tours were down in the Caribbean, so I got to see pretty much everything down there. Right. You name it, I've probably been there. The North Atlantic was really an experience. Cold.
My two brothers were Navy, that's why.
Yeah, my youngest son's in the Navy.
Yeah.
He's actually stationed down in Groton right now, Connecticut. So he comes home on the weekend. Most weekends he comes home.
My brother just retired he worked on the submarines. That's what he was one of the fueling.
In Groton?
No, right up here at Portsmouth.
Oh, okay.
He was on
I forget there's a base so close.
nuclear
Yeah.
subs.
Wow.
That's what he did, and he was one of the supervisors.
Submarines are scary.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do they know where they're going, man?
He tells me some stories.
You know, you're not going to abandon ship.
They'd come in with marks on the side of them.
Yeah. Forget that.
Bang
Imagine what it
into each
sounds like when you're in it.
Them things are unbelievable. They can run on that nuclear fuel forever.
Forever. You stay down as long as they need to stay. They run out of food before they run out of fuel.
Right. It's always the food that gets them up.
Incredible.
You just to think that's out there. It is out there. They're out there.
Well, you think about this too: is what 3/4 of the Earth is covered in water.
Mm-hmm.
There's stuff we don't. We have no idea what's in that water.
We have no idea.
You know, do I believe in sea monsters and to the extent that we don't know what the hell it is? Yes. Do I think there's some kind of kraken that's going to eat? No, I don't believe in that stuff.
There's some deep water out there too. So.
For sure. You know, it's just like I don't even know if I believe in Bigfoot, you know, but there's definitely a lot of wilderness, like in the woods in like Oregon,
right?
You know, Washington State, Alaska. There, you don't know what's in those woods, man. If an animal don't want you to see it, you're not going to see it. You know,
right?
And do I think there's a humanoid gorilla? Probably not. But it makes for a good TV show.
You would think with TV technology and stuff today that someone would catch it.
Well, here's the thing too, right? People watch those shows. Listen, if they found Bigfoot, it would be on the news. You're not going to catch it on a show that was recorded 6 months ago.
Exactly.
You know, like you ever watched that show, Curse of Oak Island or something, like they're digging for treasure or something.
I didn't know that.
So, like, why watch it? If they found that magical treasure, it would have been all over the news, you know? That's why they didn't make a show about, finding the Titanic, because we found it.
Right.
So that wasn't the show. That's called news.
Right.
So
exactly. Real news. Right?
Yeah. So there's a lot of interesting stuff, but, yeah, I mean, I'd like to have you up sometime, play some poker. So I know if you're in, I won't tell anyone else this, but I know if you get in the hand, I'm out. I don't care what I have.
But maybe if I did that, I would probably study a little more, learn how to play a little more if I play for real. So.
I'll teach you.
But definitely good coming out here.
Yeah,
I mean, seeing you guys again.
I know it's late. I know even though you have to work tomorrow, you still got close to an hour ride home.
Oh, yeah.
So I feel your pain. And this Nori, my engineer's over here yawning. He's got school tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jose, his dad's over there shaking his head. Yep. Listen, I'm glad you showed up.
Can you get him on the camera real quick so we can know who Jose is?
He's coming on. He's coming on. He's no, because he's not dressed. He don't have his lineup done.
I see two gray hairs over there.
He'll touch that up. Don't worry. No, so probably one of my next few guests is going to be my brother-in-law, but I actually call him my brother. Jose, and it's just going to be straight up just talking sports, and whatever else, whatever else comes up, scuttlebutt, just gossip, whatever we decide to talk about, and who knows what it could be.
I will tune in that night.
Listen, with Jose, that could be a 5-minute podcast. It could be a 2-hour podcast. Right. It really depends on how much we have to drink before we turn that camera on. So we got that white.
You just tell people, white Henny. Just talk like it's just.
That's all it is. It's a conversation. Some people are nervous, like the camera. They listen. How many times have you actually looked at that camera?
Right. I don't think
a couple times.
That
right.
Was just looked at because we knew it was there.
Right. So, I want to get ideas of the podcast, and see. This is the thing too: is we're ready to wrap up. And we just keep talking, right?
That's what
so I know you got to go, but so next time you come, I'll probably have multiple cameras because I'd like this dude to learn how to do it. One is have a camera for me, a camera for the guest, and then a camera for both of us, so he can cut back and forth.
Yeah,
I think it'd be better.
Switch it.
So and everybody watching probably agrees. They're like, I keep seeing the side of this dude's face. Unless,
Right.
I don't have a good side, so it's not like I'm hiding the bad side. But that's good, man. I appreciate you coming on, taking the time out. Because I've said it a few times in the podcast, you don't have a lot of free time.
Oh yeah, right. I know you checked in with me too. You still coming?
Right, earlier, right?
And
that was late, and that was like 3. It was late.
Right.
Like, we still good?
Yeah. One thing I do is if I say I'm going to be somewhere, I'm there. I don't. Yeah. That's one thing I don't do to people. So
good.
So I have to learn to tell people I'm too busy to make it to that, or because some people don't realize my schedule is nuts. I wish I could do everything, but
right,
just can't.
So right now we don't have a lot of subscribers or likes on the page, the Facebook page, all the Scuttlebutt podcast or all the Scuttlebutt, something like that. If you're watching this right now, you obviously already have us on YouTube, which is, I think, all Scuttlebutt, right? Nori, is that it? What's it called?
Scuttlebutt podcast.
All the Scuttlebutt podcasts. And eventually we'll put this stuff on iTunes and Google Play and all that. We're still learning.
Right?
We're still learning. But at some point, someone might go back and watch this
stuff.
Then
when you're on NBC somewhere.
No,
and
never.
I could say I started
because that's
off, man.
Listen,
right?
no, because you know what? That's different. What I like about the podcast forum, and so those who didn't listen to the last one, I have a 2-hour drive each way to work. To work and from work. So 4 hours a day, I'm in my vehicle, and I listen mostly to Joe Rogan and Jocko Willink podcasts. So the one thing Joe Rogan states, and I love it, is that podcast there's no restrictions. You don't have a director saying this is your content, and when I get big enough, there'll be sponsors and stuff. And if you know someone who wants to sponsor it,
right.
hit me up. But eventually, I'll have sponsors where I have guests out in the West Coast and stuff. I'd like to fly out, but
right.
the wife won't let me spend that money
so
on
like
plane
when you're
tickets.
in Lynn, go to Lynn House Roast Beef.
Exactly.
Right? You gave a couple shout outs.
Yeah, with the last podcast. So what I'm leading to is, when someone may watch this, do you have anything that you'd like to plug? Like, obviously your election, your candidacy. What's your website? Where do people go to help you out? Maybe are you accepting donations? I don't know how any of that stuff works.
That's all in the process now. It's
all right.
It's a
so
lot.
You're still building.
Yeah,
so we're gonna have to have you back
right.
on later on to talk about that.
Absolutely.
So we can get, as we build up our viewership, we can get people behind you to help you out. Because as you watch this, you see he's a real dude. He's good for the community, and I'm not saying the other guy isn't, but I don't know the other dude. So, you have my support. I don't live in Lynn anymore, but born and raised.
Yeah.
Lynn, the city of sin, never come out the way you go in.
We're changing that.
But
we're changing that hymn right there. So.
Yeah. So listen, it's been fun.
Right.
I like catching up with you. But on that note, Lynn House Roast Beef, end of the Commons. The family owns it. You'll mostly see Liz and Anita in there. Once in a while, you see Jose. You'll most likely never see me or my wife Maria there because we live too damn far. Great roast beef, great salad, right?
Oh, yeah.
Tacos are good too. I've had the tacos.
My daughter loves the tacos. My daughter's a big supporter of the house roast beef. Yeah. Shonda.
They got that. Yeah. They got the claw machine there that no one can resist playing. So go, help them out. They deliver now, right, Jose? You guys deliver? Yeah. So they deliver. That's my one sponsor. So if you know anyone, sponsor, hit me up.
And they're in Ward 6.
And they are, aren't they?
Yeah.
See? So there you go. So you'll see the Freddie Hogan signs on the window if you go down there, I'm sure. But on that note, we're good till next time. I'll post when we get our next guest. Probably will be Jose, unless someone else steps up. But share the post, get people to the page, like the page, not just the post, so that you can get announcements and stuff when we're going to put new ones up. That'd be really appreciated. But for now, that's it. Thanks a lot. See ya.
Thank you. The man right there, huh?
I couldn't do it without him.
You guys talk about.
How long was that, man? Oh, it's almost 2 hours.
Really?
Hour and 3.
Flies, right?
You just talk like nothing, man.
It's just a conversation.
That's not easy.
It's not, Fred. It's not hard.
Shit, I gotta make MC Hills, man.
That's not easy.
It's not hard though.